Kambe. Good evening, family. We are just waiting for the people to join us. We will start our show at exactly 7:30, as we go live even on radio and the other platforms that we are having. So welcome. Let us be patient. Wait for the other members to join us, and thank you for behaving. You have all muted yourself as you came. Thank you, much appreciated. Let us just give it the next 4 minutes. But maybe some of you want to be chatting as we're waiting. Welcome, Manvuma. How are you? I see you there. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Can you hear me? Manvuma, can you come back? Good evening. Okay, you can hear me. Thank you very much. We are now exactly 7:30. We will start with our show. Welcome to the conversation. To our listeners on Bold Moves Radio, all the different platforms on Facebook, on YouTube, you are welcome today to the conversation. My name is Rulani Baloyi. I am your host today. I'm not alone. I've got a special woman that we are gonna be talking to today. We are going to be empowered, enlightened. This woman that I have today before you, it's a mother of 3 of her biological children who are boys and 1 girl by marriage. She's a mother of a church as a senior pastor. She is an entrepreneur. You will understand as we continue talking to her why I say she's an entrepreneur. My definition of entrepreneurship, an entrepreneur, it's someone who looks at the society, identify the problems that we have, comes with solutions. And then in the process, that becomes a business. So this woman that we have before us tonight, our special guest, she is a businesswoman. She is an entrepreneur because I know her and I have seen how she starts her businesses. They are not propelled by making money, but they are propelled by coming with solutions for challenges that society it's going through. I am talking about none other but our very own Pastor Joylene. You are welcome, Pastor. It is an honor for me tonight to be hosting the show as we converse with you. I trust that we are going to be empowered. I have submitted to your leadership. I have spent time with you, and I know that I haven't gotten enough of who you are because you are such an inspiration. A family, let us welcome tonight Pastor Joylene. Pastor Joylene, you are welcome.
Thank you, Mrs. Baloyi. Thank you. In fact, I'm the one honored to be on this platform tonight, and I will say thank you so much for having me. Maybe I can say it has been always good to be behind the scene, producing all the shows, the conversation, but tonight you got me. So thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, Pastor Joylene. And we cannot start the show and not appreciate the man behind this idea of the conversation, a program that has changed our lives, a program that continues to give us a platform to be empowered as you host different people from all walks of life. Pastor Strike, we would like to appreciate you. You are indeed bold, as the name says, Bold Moves Radio. You are bold to break new barriers. We appreciate you so much for this platform. Tonight, Pastor Joylene, back to you. I have tried, and I know I did not do justice to introduce you. I would like to give you this opportunity. Just tell us, who is this person? I know most of the members of Mana Tabernacle tonight are joining, wanting to hear more because there's no you as their pastor. We know you as Mama. And all the different people have experienced you in different ways. But tonight, just tell us, who is Pastor Joylene?
Oh, thank you so much, madam. Thank you. What a difficult question to answer. It's easy when you ask someone, you know, but let me do justice to the question. I am Hlamalani Joylene Nshalati Mangai Wamgwena. And I'm a daughter, a sister, and let me also now come to say I am a teacher by profession, a senior pastor or a pastor by calling, and a businesswoman by passion, a mother, like you said, and a grandmother. I enjoyed this last one, you know, of being a grandmother. To many people, I carry different hats, but to just summarize, this is who I am. And when I say a pastor, at this present moment, I'm a senior pastor of Mana Tabernacle of Witness, which is based in Polokwane, in which the founder of it is none other than Pastor Strike. And I agree with you when you say, let's appreciate this man, because even this program, it's his brainchild. And we just want to thank God for that.
Oh, thank you, Pastor Joylene. I forgot one element. I
Okay.
know you are also an educator, something that I believe had added so much value in you steering the ship at Mana Tabernacle, because I believe being a senior pastor, you continue to mentor and educate the church through the word of God.
Yes.
And the skill that you attained as an educator, I think that's what makes you to be so patient with the many of us as a senior pastor, as our pastor, and be patient to continue to teach us. Yes. So
you are very right.
I forgot to make. Okay. Thank you.
Okay,
Pastor.
I was losing you there, Sister Rulan.
Oh, you were losing me. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Thank you very much. So, family, you can hear we've got such a dynamic woman before us, an educator, a mother, a wife, a senior pastor, an entrepreneur, and a businesswoman. How many of us women we are able to be such? How many women can stand out there and say, this is who I am? As we celebrate women, Pastor Joylene, this is August. In South Africa, August we celebrate women.
Yes.
There is this thing in our society. You mentioned that you are a pastor. There's this thing in our society, whether it's in the Christian circles or even with non-Christians, there's a belief that women cannot lead a church. Women cannot be capable of becoming senior pastors. I know, and I've got in contact with people who say, I cannot submit to a woman. But with you, we see a different thing. You have led Mana Tabernacle for quite a number of years now as a senior pastor. Tell us, what is your view around lady pastors? And you tell us your experience. I would like to believe you have even got in contact with other lady pastors. What is your experience of a woman leading a church?
Thank you, Sister Rulani. And as you alluded, the work and mostly the work that have been done by our women in the struggle and most especially when we celebrate women, we look back and reflect on what they have done. In 1956, the resilience of women to stand strong even against all the odds. Allow me also maybe to come back to your question as I celebrate all the women and all women in leadership in different sectors. I want to say, women, we salute you, we celebrate you, and we are not just trying, but we want to celebrate the 1956 women who, because of their resilience, they liberated us to become whatever that you will desire. Now, coming back to the circle of faith, more especially zooming into women leadership, may I start by saying every leadership has got its own challenges. Now, we will not just only focus on the church only, but it's still difficult to receive women leadership very well. It is not different even from the church. But one thing that I can say as a pastor or a lady pastor, I want to say it is very important, most especially looking at our leadership in church, that it comes by or through calling. Now, it is very important also to believe in yourself and believe in the calling of God upon one's life. And we need also to overcome the fear of people and also always wanting to be validated as women. Remember, we always say, God qualifies those he called. So I want to say it is not easy also in the faith circles. There's still too much pressure. The reception sometimes is not that wow or 100%, but one must always know what God has called you to do. Because when we look at the callings of individuals, especially when we come to our faith, it is not about competing each other, but it is about the grace of God upon an individual to fulfill that which God or the assignment of God concerning his people or certain responsibilities that God wants you to fulfill. So I want to say, me also not excluded, it was not easy. And most especially looking at the church where I am a senior pastor, you know, you come in and you are assigned with this responsibility, which confirms the calling of God in your life, and taking after the men of Pastor Strike's caliber. It is not easy. But I want to say, I thank God so much for his grace and the family of Mana Tabernacle. The reception was not that, it was not something that you will be fearful, but the reception was so welcoming. And that became a very good platform for one to stand up, though it is not easy. Yes, there will be those challenges there and there, but when you depend on the one who assigned or the one who called you, you 100% depend upon him, not upon individuals, because people, they've got their fears also. They've been under this leadership, and when this other one comes and a different gender, now the expectations become very much. But I thank God for the family of Tabernacle, the pastors at Man Tabernacle. It's not one man's assignment, but I thank God for the pastors and the leaders that make it possible for me to be able to lead Manna Tabernacle as a senior pastor from 2012 until to date. So it has never been easy. And I would want to say to women, women leadership will not change now and be easy now. But one thing for sure, you need to know your assignment in each and every sector. It's about you knowing who you are, your purpose, and what God has assigned you to do. So I would love to say, Sesurulani, we'll still have a long way for women leadership to be 100% welcome, but that cannot make us to take a back seat, more especially even when God calls us to arise and do something or to fulfill his mandate upon our lives.
Yes, thank you, Pastor. You are so spot on. I think what comes out is for a woman to succeed in leadership, they must first believe in themselves. Because most of the time, women do not believe in themselves. When you do not believe in yourself, you will look at other people and whatever that they will be doing, you'll think it means they don't believe in me, because that's what you have said for yourself. You are so right. As women, there is a need for us to first believe in ourselves and not judge ourselves against things that we have created in our own minds. It's such, I think women, you are learning from what she's saying, because, you know, you go in there, as you take the position of leadership, you go in there. Yes, you can anticipate that things may not be simple, so that you can be strong and you can come up with solutions of how to overcome whatever challenges that can come before you as you ascend into a position. And Pastor Joylene, we are proud of you as women, for you to have gotten into a position which was filled by such a giant, Pastor Strike, and you fitted in the shoes of Pastor Strike. And I believe, Pastor Strike, you are amongst us. I believe you seeing something different. You can see that there's a difference when there's a woman and there's a difference when there's a man, because women come with that emotion. Women come with that, motherly love for the church. She doesn't lead the church as just another organization, but there's that compassion that comes with it. Pastor Joylene, when we're still around the church, you know, we are in a pandemic and the church was faced with a lot of challenges. You go to social media, people are talking, you know, some are saying, you know, how can the president close the churches, this and that, you know, but I believe as a leader of an institution, of an organization, you had to come with a response. How do you respond to this pandemic that is facing us? Just take us through. I just want to hear, you know, from you, how did Manna Tabernacle respond to COVID-19? And what is your view around the whole COVID-19 and the church?
Thank you so much, Madam. And before I respond to that, let me also add something which I think it will become the background of what I will say. I want to appreciate the members of Manna Tabernacle. If it happened that I be deployed somewhere or be given a second chance to say, can you still come and pastor Manna Tabernacle? I will say yes. I think with all the challenges of settling in as a senior pastor, one thing that I will always appreciate is the buy-in of all the members, the different fellowships. And allow me to speak openly, because I'm talking of Manna Tabernacle that I know. You know, since 2012, when I came in, I made sure that before we set programs in place, I establish relationships with different fellowships. And I started with the men's fellowship. I realized that I need this man because They are the fathers, and they are here in church. And and so I said, let me get in and get their buy-in. And I had meetings with them, casted the vision to them, and also desire, or tell them the desire of seeing how the fellowship can be alive and active, so that they are able to interact. It may not be like, our traditional women fellowship, like we know women fellowship will be every Thursday. But, I made them to be, to take ownership of what we call Men Imbizo. And I've seen, and I'm so grateful, and it's something that I will cherish forever. I've seen men's fellowship becoming very active and alive, to a point where they will go for weekend camps, where they will discuss issues that relates to them as men. And as a society and as culture, especially from our culture background, we know that men, they are not like women. They don't openly discuss the issues. But God has helped us, and I've seen the men of Manna Tabernacle standing up, having their, their conference where they will invite a speaker, where they will discuss, have their father-sons, meetings where they will deliberate on issues relating to them as men. And also having prayer meetings, every month at Manna Tabernacle before COVID, they will have a prayer meeting once a month. So these are some of the things that I've seen. The youth ministry, I've seen the youth ministry also taking a stride in growing, and they will stand up to preach. I have seen so much growth in different fellowships. I will not talk of ladies fellowship, because we are used to ladies being able to congregate, plan, discuss things, and have a vibrant ladies ministry. But I want to say, when COVID came, and before I forgot, even our children ministry, we are one ministry, which I think the children ministry is very big. And because I said that which the founders started, when you take over or you are delegated to continue with the leadership, you don't kill that which has been the pillars of the church. One thing that we are strong with is the children ministry. And we continued in strengthening the growth of the children ministry. Sometimes I sit back, look at the videos where the children will be ministering, speaking the word of God. It's so touchy. So all these programs, when COVID-19 came, it came to a standstill like any other church, because this affected each and every sector, churches included also. But we, by the grace of the Lord, as if God was preparing us, January, February 2020, because we had a program from the previous year, we had an ordination of pastors, where I ordained around 7 pastors from the church. And these are not just ordinary people, but the people who have been there serving together with me, studied also. And as if we knew, because that became a very strong point for us to face the COVID-19 season. Because remember, prior to COVID-19, we were never online as Manna Tabernacle. Now, COVID-19 came, the lockdowns came, and it stopped everything, every program. Now, what was left was to come with our few pastors and elders during the lockdown to say, okay, here we are. What do we do? How do we reach out to the flock of God that He has put in our care? Now, that's where we in a situation like that, in a challenging situation like that, we were stretched. That is why I would love to say to each and everyone, not only on religious circles, but in each and everything around your life, in each and every challenge, there's also an opportunity. Now, COVID-19 came, it stopped everything, but at the very same time, it stretched us. Now, how it stretched us, we were stretched to quickly put in place everything that we needed for our online services. And this is what made us to survive. Yes, it is not 100%, you will not reach to every member, but somehow the majority of the people, based on where we are, they are able to connect online, and we are able to run different programs like this program also. We are able to run different programs and continue with our different sessions. So I will say that is how we stood up to the challenge of COVID-19, because we have been able to have our family meetings. Like you know, South Africa, we have our family meeting with our president. So even at Mana Tabernacle, we have our family meeting through a different social platform like your Zoom meeting, where we are able to keep each other updated. We're able to minister to the different members of the church who you know, test positive of COVID-19, and we're still able to support each other.
Oh, thank you, Pastor. What I'm getting, family, is that COVID-19 came indeed, but what made one to succeed is what have you been doing before? The structures should have been operating so that when it comes, you are able to now strategize and see how now do we respond. Thank you, Pastor. And I'm also aware that as Mana Tabernacle, during COVID-19, I can say we have a new ministry that has started, where I can say you are doctors with Pastor Strike. You are medical doctors with Pastor Strike. And we appreciate it so much, the work that you have been doing, because, you know, as I said in my opening to say, I love Pastor Joylene because she looks around, always checks the challenges that is facing society and come with solutions. And even within the Christian circles, we appreciate you so much because as a church, you saw that we are facing a pandemic and you did not say you're going to pray only, but you said we will pray and look for information, because the word of God says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. We so much appreciate you. And I believe that's another ministry that has started. You may not see it because you are doing it, but those of us who are beneficiaries and those who are watching from a distance, they see that you have been an entrepreneur even within the church, because you were able to see the challenge and came with a solution. Even though I'm not sure if it's paying, but I know you are not doing the work of God for the payment, but it's for the love of God's people. Yes. With that, Pastor Joylene, I want us now to go and zoom into your life as a businesswoman, into your life as an entrepreneur. I'm privileged, family, to know that the other day she said she was going through CIPC and found that she had registered. How many businesses did you say you had?
No.
I was shocked. I think you talked about around 15.
Yeah, I think around there.
And some of us have never even gone to CIPC, and it costs only about 200 Rand or so to register. And every year they keep on making it simpler, because our government says they want to create a conducive environment for businesses to operate. So tonight, family, I think you are going to be challenged. Those of us who do not have a company in our names, let's go to CIPC, and you don't have to go there physically. You can go there virtually, just like we're meeting now. Pastor Joylene, let's zoom into your entrepreneurship skills. What makes you to open so many businesses? Why do you keep on opening businesses? And I know they are all successful. We call her Madam Talk and Do. No procrastination with Pastor Joylene. She thinks of something, she does it. Tell us what makes you to do all these things, Pastor Joylene, as a businessman.
Yeah. Okay, madam. Yeah. I think the issue of business comes a long way. And, you know, let me now come back to my family. I just want to thank God because, you know, these people, if God did not grace me with a family like the one I have, I don't know where I will be or how will people have interpreted me. So God is able to bring you to people who will understand your craziness. Sometimes it may not make sense, but you know, in the long run, they finally see why all these other things. And I thank God because I think when I met Pastor Strike, he was not really like in business, but together, I don't know how it started, but you know, with us at home from where I come, at home, my mom will always be selling something. So, you know, I think Dad again helped us to realize that, you know, in life, you need to be doing something, you know, and it started to be a desire. I don't remember a time where I was not selling anything because even from tertiary, I met recently one of my tertiary mate now in one of the businesses. And then she said, I know where it's starting from. So, you know, one has been like that. And when I look back, even as a family, there are so many things that we tried. And I will not say we tried in vain, but, you know, in the process, that is how you pay your school fees, you know. Today, people may look at some of these videographers and everything. And years back, we had the Hlamalani video production. Remember, I'm Hlamalani also. So we had a company called Hlamalani Video Production, and that's where all it started. I will go. I'm a I'm a camera woman, in fact. So sometimes I will go capture funerals alone, and yeah, and you'll meet all the challenges there because when families are in a feud or they are fighting, you know, whoever has hired that video services, you know, will be attacked. So, and also I remember we also ran a shop in one village. You know, I will take a bus because, you know, when it comes to cars, it was not easy, you know. Yeah, we come a long way, Bazalwan. So I will board a bus and in the morning, go to this village, I think it's more than 50 km from Giyani, just to go open the shop and, you know, sell. And in that shop now, I look at the shop, you know, I try to imagine the contents or the items. Well, those it will be your candles, you know. And as a family, we were in Giyani. By then, Pastor Strike was in Polokwane, you know, doing some other businesses around here. So just alone in my heart, I will always think of the work of God. And what came to me was to say, but why should I continue this side as a teacher when there is a work of God to be taken care of? Now, I had a conversation with myself, pray on what was a burden in my spirit, which was the work of God, because by then I will be traveling, you know, Fridays. And thank God, you know, one of the key members of this church, and now he's a pastor, by then, you know, because he was working with Pastor Strike, he will come and pick us up Friday to Polokwane, you know, Sunday afternoon or Monday morning, driving us back so that I'll be able to go back to work. And that is Pastor Mahlangu, you know. And I looked at that and I never discussed it with my family. I never discussed it with him, but I was still fighting in this battle, you know, alone until where 2001, I felt it's very important for me to resign. I think I was 9 years in teaching or going for my 10th year. Now I decided to say, let me resign so that I go to Polokwane and God will see me through. And he has given me strength. When it comes to working, I know myself, I'm a hard worker, a go-getter. And I felt I will go and do something. Now, before I resigned, during the course of the year 2001, I registered a certificate in estate agency as an estate agent. Then I said, okay, I've got the certificate. When I get to Polokwane, this is what I will be doing. Because the church was still very small. I did not resign thinking that I'm coming to be full-time in the church. In me, I knew I'm a businesswoman. And I said, God, if you permit me to resign, I will make sure that I go there and work and do whatever that I will do to feed the family and also to help with the church responsibilities. Because you see, when the church starts, let me tell you and be honest, it is upon the man who claims or a woman who claims that they are called to make sure that everything is established. And for people to finally commit and trust you, you have shown your commitment also. So everything was done by Pastor Strike. So I think that is the one area which made me to stand in business. So end 2001, I resigned, and January 2002, now I was full-time in Polokwane with my children and joining the Man of God, Pastor Strike. And it has been awesome. Then he was there by then in a construction company while servicing the church. Now I looked at the working environment. I said, Lord, I'm going to do something there. Now that's when the businesswoman started so seriously and focusing. And then I walk around, I felt, let me go around, checking on the issue of, estate agent. And I realized, it's so difficult. And then from there, that's when I felt, okay, I cannot sit and cry because I've left my job, my profession. I must do something. By God's grace, God gave me an idea to say, why don't you open a stationery shop? Now I walked around Polokwane looking for a space. And by the grace of the Lord, I met this white man who offered me a space. He was so good. I think God prepared him. And that's where I operated Nazima Stationery Shop. Don't ask me what was the meaning of that name. Don't worry, it was one of the companies that I registered, like you say. So that is how I took off in the city of Polokwane and running my shop there, having so many departments coming and bringing their work, printing, or doing so many things. Yeah, I think with the business, it started there, Caroline. Yeah.
Very interesting. Our viewers on Facebook are commenting. I see Stacey Deisa Mahlang, which is saying, so proud of you, Pastor Joy. You continue to inspire us to move out of our comfort zone. And of course, what you are saying to us, you moved out of your comfort zone. How many women will leave their jobs and join their husband in what they are doing? Very few of us can do that, more especially when you've got a job in government, because we believe that is it's security. And I just want to point out, Pastor Joylene, that, with your journey of entrepreneurship, Nyeleti is saying it was not in vain, and I would like to agree with her to say, yes, it was not in vain. I love the video productions one, because it has birthed something. Maybe you did not know. I would like to believe that was a seed for Bukosi to be now being a photographer for such big shows like he's doing, So sometimes as parents, as women, we need to break that ground. I would like to believe you broke the ground for Bukosi to be where he is. If he's listening together with his wife, because I think your mom, bakubulele ndlela. Leswi hi swi vulaka loko va khome xifaki loko before u dya mi bule ndlela ya ku because a hundza a ya sungula business ya yena. We appreciate it so much, Pastor Joylene. The women and the men are talking on Facebook. I see the men in Bizo, one of your men in Bizo children is saying your entrepreneurship is identifying the need and bring a solution. And he's saying you are an embodiment of that. And I see Pastor Strike says, you are looking at an entrepreneur of note. This woman is a go-getter, and we have the opportunity to learn from her. And I would like to believe Pastor Strike knows you better than all of us. I once heard him saying, yeah, this woman, she's an entrepreneur. One day she will sell us. And I see, you know, he's continuing to talk about entrepreneurship. And what I loved about selling was when he said, hey, he's worried maybe you'll tell your daughter-in-law to start selling hair. Yeah, that was so interesting. But that shows how Pastor Joylene starts her businesses. You can hear family, how she moved from Guyana. And when she got here, she's not talking to us and saying, I saw someone having a bookshop, having tenders. She says, I drove around Polokwane. So it means she went and observed what is happening around. Women, let us be challenged today. You cannot be in an area and you do not know what's happening. She walked around and she was able to identify a need for a stationery shop. So that is another angle that you are continuing to teach us, Pastor Joylene. I see, says Susan, saying, Pastor Joylene, a caring mother, a powerful woman of God, a Proverbs 31 woman, and Abigail, my role model, my mentor. That's how people value you, Pastor Joylene. I will want us now to move. She's saying you are a Proverbs 31 woman, and Abigail. One thing that I love, a statement that you keep on mentioning, you talk about what do you have in your house? The woman with a little jar of oil. You know, I just want us to engage around it. Family, you are welcome to ask questions to Pastor Joylene as we continue. But allow me, even as the host, to tell you my experience with this woman. You know, she will say that statement that it one day touched me, and I asked myself, there must be something. I must be having a little jar of oil. There must be something that I can do. And I stood up and I said, let me go and see what is it that I have. And I'm talking today, I'm a businesswoman. I have registered a company. Yes. I'm a businesswoman. I'm doing something other than my job. Even though I continue and become faithful in what I'm doing, I am faithful in my work place. I'm there at the time when they need me. I even put on extra hours. So Pastor Joylene showed me that as a woman, I cannot hold on to one job. There must be something that I can do. There must be a little jar of oil. And God will not bless us, family, by saying, I'm praying for a miracle. I'm praying for breakthrough financially. But what jar do you have? What is it that you have in your house? Pastor Joylene, I'm aware that you have helped a lot of people, a lot of women and men to identify their little jar of oil. And they've started doing something. Before we get into what you are currently doing in terms of your businesses, I just want you to share with us, how do you do it, to be able to look at a person and say, no, you can do this? Because I have seen you look at a person and say, no, when you can bake, please bake, do businesses. And sometimes I have seen you starting businesses, not for yourself, but only to hand them over to other people. This is the woman that we're talking about. Just tell us, how do you do it? And maybe, Pastor, I don't know, but your children that you have mentored. Maybe you can show us some of them as examples. I want us, the women and the men who are listening to this show, to be able to value when, not only for yourself, but even other people. Sometimes you are not able to recognize your gift, but it must be identified by someone. And it is only when you value that counsel to say you've got a gift here that you can break through. So just share with us, Mama, how you help in identifying opportunities and how you get people whom you are mentoring to be able to take over these opportunities.
Thank you so much, Sister Rulan. I think maybe one thing that it's in me is to believe that there's no one who cannot do anything. Each one of us, we just need somebody who can encourage you to say there's something that you can do. God has given you something. I believe in the giftings of God. And yes, there are those who are gifted academically, but all of us, there is something. It's only that you, as an individual, you can just look at it and undermine it. Maybe to take you back, even before I continue further with this one. Sometimes I look at myself and ask myself, what was happening in me or, with me that time? Because I remember, most especially with network marketing businesses, I've tried so many. And this other day I was sharing and reminding Pastor Strike to say, hey, do you remember that I even brought Dr. Michael Moore? I don't know if you remember. Yes. Dr. Michael Moore. He used to be in you remember him?
Yes, we were still at Devenish, eh?
Yeah, Devenish. I brought him in Polokwane, and by that time, I was a marketer and a distributor of Spotron products. I don't know how many of you remember, but I had quite a number of consultants. So I just believe that when I have an idea, if I cherish it and grow it, and also share it with other people, it will help them. They will improve and better their lives. So that is why sometimes I always engage with women to say, but what is it that you can do? This other time, I was attending a wedding which we were officiating. Now, it was one of our daughters from church. When we arrived there, the setup was so beautiful. And I looked at the cake, it was a 4-step cake. And it was so beautiful. And then when we were interacting after the blessing and everything, I said, who baked this cake? God will just direct me to, some of the spot on or the direct questions. And then she said, I bake it myself. And I know my daughter, she's been always crying when it comes to finances. I said, are you sure? Are you the one who baked this cake? She said, yes. I said, let's finish the issue of the weddings from here. I want to see you baking cakes. Why are you crying financially? Meanwhile, there is something special that you can do. So I'm telling you, I take pride in this, my daughter, and now as a family with her husband, that this business has grown so much. The cakes that they bake, I'm telling you, they are out of this world. So these are some of the things, because I believe God did not call me just to help people spiritual only. But you see, when you read in the Word of God, maybe this is one of the scriptures that always inspires me. When you look in the book of Luke, I think it's Luke chapter 8, reading from verse 3, it says, amongst the people in the ministry of Jesus, there were women who were healed and delivered from demon afflictions and different diseases. and they will minister to the Lord with all their resources. So it means women, even though they were not ministering, because after all, even the disciples, they were not ministering by then, but the women specifically, they had something, to minister to the team and the ministry of Jesus Christ. So these are some of the things which, even when we are in a church, I always believe that if as women we stand up, to discover the gifts of God that God has given to us, we will be able to, help the responsibilities of the church, help the responsibilities of our families. We will not look only on one person, but we will be able to play our role. The pastor will not have to look at even issues of, things that are needed, the consumables of the church. But if we stand up, because some, like I tell you now, some even at church, they produce or make toilet papers. So that person is able, that is the offering that she can give to the church, instead of even drawing from the little resources of the church to go, buy toilet papers. But somebody, because it's a business, God has helped them to discover that skill, they're able, and that is their offering to the church. So this is what propels and drives me to say, as women, there are so many things that we can do. Believe me, when the lockdown started, I called the members of the Abigails. I said, guys, let's learn how to make a mask. And I demonstrated on different masks, because some masks, to make them, you don't need a machine or sewing machine. And bless God if you have got a sewing machine. And even elderly or senior citizens, Mama Wolu, Pastor Gladys, they took it upon themselves to make sure that they make them the masks. Why? Because as Abigails, maybe we did not speak of Abigail, we have got an assignment of reaching out. Abigail is our women empowerment ministry that I founded also, with the push that the women should arise. We cannot sit and cry. Today, as South Africans, we are used to cry that the government should give us grants, supply us with food parcels, and all those things. But if as women we arise, if we are able to identify a need, if we are able to cry to God to say, Lord, show unto me that which I can do to reach out to your people, to reach out to my community, and God will surely show you, and you will be able. The works of the Abigails, we saying we need to, together we change people's lives, and how can you change people's lives? It's not only about preaching the word of God. You cannot say, like the Bible says, to a person who's naked and say, go and be warm. Warm with what? It says you need to do what Jesus said, to say, you saw me naked and you clothed me. I was hungry, you fed me. I was thirsty, you gave me a glass of water. So I believe in that. And I'm saying, if you don't have, what will you give? So as Abigail, we don't always have all these things. But you see, we come with an idea to say, please, church, if you have got some clothes that are still okay and you're not using them, can you please help us, give them to us? We will make sure that we clean them, we package them, and we go to communities. We have been to different communities, giving and meeting the needs of people. We always have sessions with women and girls. We've been to other institutions where we will go supply some items that bring dignity to our little ones. Like we have been to Ribone School of the Blind together with Bold Moves, and that's where we said these are our responsibilities. We will always supply them with everything, the sanitary towels, the roll-ons, something that will help a child to feel belonging also, because they are not smelling the armpits. They can go to class. We'll buy them, the Colgates, the toothbrushes, all those things. And so I always say there is something that you can do, as long as we believe that I'm not here for my family only, but I am here also to fulfill God's purpose concerning my life. by reaching out to other people out there. So that is what makes me to always, and as Abigail, another empowerment or session of our empowerment is to say, women, don't look down upon the little idea that you may have. You know, I love in the Bible, Ruth. We know Ruth, who was the daughter-in-law of Naomi. The Bible says when she decided to follow Naomi back into Bethlehem, she decided to say, please permit me to go to the field. She did not look down upon gathering of, you know, the remains of wheat as they were harvesting. But she said, I will go there and gather whatever that I will gather for our survival with my mom. And look at what God has done, how God favored her. And instead of her, you know, following the reapers, but now she was granted favor to be able to get enough. So this is what propels me to say, as women, we cannot sit and cry. And you said like the Abigail, the Proverbs 31 woman, that one is an all-rounder woman, you know. And I'm saying, women, if we can draw lessons from that woman, you realize that in every area she is there. So every time I'm seated, I always say, I am the Proverbs 31 woman, not just to be, you know, pleasing to my husband, but I look at all her responsibilities and I say, Lord, if you created me as a woman, it means I can be this woman.
Wow, Pastor Joylene, you know, you inspiring us not to fold our hands and say we're waiting for someone to provide for us. You are challenging us indeed. And I see women and men are talking here. I see Pastor Matebula, whom you are mentoring in the issues of faith. She says, I'm very encouraged by what Pastor Joylene is doing. Very challenging, and we are learning from the woman of God. You are doing so much to us women. Looking at you, we get encouraged to say it is possible. Mama Tsakani Silesho says, we salute you, Pastor Joylene. We see your strength, wisdom, knowledge, guidance, humility, and conviction. And I think it is these characters that makes you to be successful. These are characters that we see in the Proverbs 31 woman. And we wonder, you know, I for one, when I look at all that you are doing, I always wonder, how do you balance a pastor, a mother, a businesswoman? You know, how do you strike the balance? Sometimes as women, you know, we fail to strike a balance. If I'm in business, I forget about my children. I make money, but they stay behind. And I only to find out later when things got out of hand that I was not there for my children. But for you, you are the mother to your boys without any girl in the house, which means you take care of them. You are the mother to all the families at MTW. You run all these businesses. How do you strike a balance?
Thank you so much, Sister Rulan. Number one, I have got a strong support family system, which is my family, and I want to appreciate them. I think they were not business-minded like I am, but I think they finally accepted that this woman, you know, my children will always say when they go for tertiary, when they come back, they will say, hey, we knew there will be something else when we come back. When by that time you're selling something, they will say, but not so long we were drinking this, now we're drinking this. So, but I love how they understand and how all of them came on board to support. And I will say, you need your family in all this, you need the support of your family. And maybe another thing also, how do I balance all this? You know, there's one woman, and I appreciate that woman, I honor that woman, who summarized this, and I realized that I'm exactly what she said. She said, a woman is like a television. You know, it has got all the channels in it, and it depends on the one holding the remote that time, which channel they want to switch on. Some they want to switch to channel mother, some they want to switch to channel wife, they want to switch to, you know, and some, you know, they want to switch to, you know, your spiritual children, your spiritual sons and daughters. So it's about asking the wisdom of God for you to live a balanced life and not to neglect. And if I have neglected my family, you will have already seen, because they will be complaining, they will not be part of what I'm doing. If I've neglected Pastor Strike, it means I'm telling you, most of the things they will say, no, I no longer want in this house. And one thing that becomes my strong point is to know that in all which I am doing, there is a priority, and that is the work of God. I may sleep at night while counseling, praying for people, but I always create time for my life. I create time for my family. I create time for my husband, and I create time for my family, because I'm still a daughter and a sister. So it is about asking God, and God, the Holy Spirit, helping you to make sure that you balance all this, that each and everything that you do can give glory to God.
So there must be balance in everything that we do. I see Mama Tsakan Mabasa saying she once shared a night with you. You were in a funeral and you never slept the whole night. People were calling, you were counseling, you were praying. That's the woman that it's before us today. Pastor Joylene, we cannot appreciate you enough, you know, and we thank Pastor Strike for an opportunity such as this to be able to talk to you, not only to talk about you, but to talk to you when you are still in this world, so that you can download to us what you have. I see Pastor Nkuna Leonard saying, you are an amazing woman, Pastor Joylene. We are so proud of you. You are a leader par excellence. So even the men in Bizo appreciates you, Pastor Joylene, and they are here, they are learning. This session is not only for women, it's also for the men in Bizo, even though we are celebrating Women's Month as a country. I see our time, it's way above, but allow me to continue. I think all of us were agreeing. I see the interactions that we are learning, and we cannot be limited by time. Pastor Joylene, yes, you have spoken about how you started your businesses and spoke about the businesses that have passed through your hands. And I know those businesses you have opened roads for other people. That's why when you look at your church, the church, Mana Tabernacle, we'll find that there is a business in all the areas that you were talking about. But I know that currently you've got businesses that are running. Just tell us, just a snippet of what is it that you are currently doing.
Okay. What at the moment I'm doing is an event company where God has blessed me with an establishment called Farm Life Gardens. So I've got HVLM events and also Farm Life Gardens. So that's where some of the pictures I think you're seeing there, because Farm Life Garden before COVID, it's a place for your events like parties, weddings, you know. I had a proposal with, you know, because I've been an educator, I know most of the schools back home, you know, they will love, especially primary school, they will love having their trips, you know, coming to Polokwane for them to go for sightseeing, like our then airport, Polokwane Airport, and Snake Park, you know, Mganalonene, they will love visiting Mganalonene. Then I will create a package where they will come after we help them even in booking some of these places they want to go. And from there now they will come to Farm Life Gardens. That's where they will have their entertainment of jumping castle, swimming pool, and horse riding we will not allow with little ones, and also the go-karts also, and also just to entertain them and prepare their refreshments. So even children ministries, Manata Baneke Children Ministry, they love also celebrating their events there. And different workshops and business people, they come there for their business meeting, business trainings. So yes, before COVID, that was the life. So, but with COVID, all of this, they are on hold. And that's where I will say, as a woman, don't depend on one stream of income, but you must be so versatile to have multiple streams of income. Now, before COVID, we were extending Farm Life Gardens with the building of chalets. But unfortunately, lockdown came. But because they've got their objective also, because there are people who also want to come there for their prayer retreat, some of them. So yes, so those are the things that I've been doing. And then during the process, I don't undermine a business opportunity. I thank God for one of my daughters, Mrs. Onika Nkuna. She's a distributor of Butle Butle. And I said to myself, as it started by me being invited to the events, because they will come, there, book for their trainings, their managers' meetings, and they will invite me as their spiritual parent to come and encourage or to inspire people in the Word of God. Then I listened to the testimonies that were there, and I said, but okay, these people, I counted how many people from church are here in Butle Butle. I realized I just saw 2, 3. And then I said, but this woman, we are with her at church, and she's working very hard, and there's so many people that she's changing. And then I, just my inquisitiveness, I started asking to say, tell me, how is this business working? And then they explained to me, I said, okay, I want to join this business just to prove if it works. And for the sake of me helping some of my daughters. And then boom, Joylene joins Butle Butle end of 2019. And then I realized, man, this thing, it works. But you must be a hard worker, a go-getter. And then I worked. And then I realized that it works indeed. And with a short space that I've been with Butle Butle, 1.5 years, I produced a manager. I was promoted maybe hardly in 6 months to be a manager. And in 1.5 years, I think I've got 3 managers. So that is one thing. And during COVID, I think it was one stream that also sustained me when Farm Life was on hold, because there were no events that were taking place. And then, okay, Butle Butle is just a side hustle because I wanted to prove, and that's where those that I see at church, they are open, because even when you're at church, let me tell you one of my secrets, and that is something that has been instilled in me by Pastor Strike, and we agreed from the beginning. We don't do business over the pulpit. So even when I recruit some of my kids or my children, it is, on the side after service, I will say, hey, there is this business opportunity. Are you interested? Or would you want me to share with you? So that is how I help even those that I'm talking about. Then, okay, 2021, we thought the things will be better. But again, there's something which I love in my life, it's flowers. And then I love flowers very much. And then I always struggled when I've got events, because you need to go to another person, just for the flowers that you want to arrange the event or a party or wedding of your clients. Then I said, but I love flowers, and at home, in a small scale, I will, put together some flowers just for my house. And then I said, I need to do this just for the benefit of my clients at Farm Life. And I want to appreciate this woman. She was not selfish at all. She's my mom. We reconnected after some years, and that is a business that she's running. And that is Mama Rebecca Ntlebe. And then I called her and said, Mama, I know you are a professional when it comes to flowers. I've got an interest in flowers. I've got an event place and I want to arrange my own flowers. And then we agreed, boom, I was driving to Giyani once a week for my trainings. Family, you must be able to set aside time to invest for that which you desire, for you to acquire the skill and to grow. Then, you know, when it started, I thought I just, you know, doing this just for the benefit of my clients. I did not know, but it has been, you know, a defining moment for another business to be born. And that is why today we're talking and speaking of HVLM Flower Boutique, which has opened at Malamulele, because I'm coming from Malamulele. So from the 9th of August, we launched officially the opening of HVLM Flower Boutique. And you see, when I went there, it was just for the passion and the desire of benefiting my client here. But when now I was, you know, challenging myself, because from there I came back and I started arranging flowers. People will call me, hey, we need this basket, we need this bouquet. And from there I said, okay, it's like another stream of income. And then I said, okay, what do I do? Yes, I'm here in Polokwane and there are big names, florists here in Polokwane. But there is something burning in me to say, I think out there are people who are in need of fresh flowers. And then I started, you know, I'm so inquisitive, and I started calling and checking around there. And then boom, I finally had a breakthrough to go to Malamulele, because I realized there's no fresh flower supply. And that is why now we're talking of HVLM Flower Boutique at Malamulele, shop number 6. Yeah, MPS House. That's where, and that's what we're doing now. You know, I'm a supplier to all the burial societies there, and the events, malobolas, the weddings there. In a short space of time, I have seen why I had to go there.
Wow, Pastor Joylene, it's inspiring indeed. I would like to believe, family, I will not be wrong to say she is really an entrepreneur. You see, with even the businesses that she's currently doing, how they start, she sees a challenge and come with an opportunity, and then money becomes a byproduct. I love something that you are doing, diversification. Most of us, when we're doing something, we just want to do that one thing. And should something happen, then we've got nothing to fall in. And I love the fact that you did not sit. We are in COVID. People have lost jobs. It's tough. People are saying there is nothing. But this is the time where you were able to see an opportunity. Flowers. From where I am, when I look at it, the flowers, it's more being used in the funeral industry. And all of us, we keep on talking, people are dying, which means people are being buried. Do you see an opportunity? Through the hardships that we are going through, we must be able to see something. I love how you come up with ideas. You know, I once had an opportunity to go to Zimbabwe and represent the South African government. In one workshop, I will never forget it. One of the billionaires in Zimbabwe who owns a bank gave a lecture, a mini lecture. He said, as people, if you want to succeed, you must do something that you are passionate on, but you must have seen a challenge that makes you want to bring a solution. If there's a challenge and you have a solution, there is no way people will not pay you for that, which means money becomes a byproduct. And from that day, I realized that a business is not about seeing someone doing something and say, I can also do it. but it's you, then you are even able to come out and say, you will pay me what you believe I'm worth, because I'm bringing in a solution. There is no one who can sit with a problem. Everyone, when they have a problem, they want a solution, so they will come through. Thank you, Pastor Jolie. Time is not on our side. There's a lot that we're going to learn from you, I know, but time is not on our side. I just want to ask you, as we're celebrating Women's Month in August, the history of this day, the 9th of August, is that women in 1956 marched in Pretoria fighting for their rights. In your view, do you think women of today have got a reason to celebrate, or we still have a long way to go?
Thank you, Cecilia. I can say yes, we have a reason to celebrate, because the efforts of the 1956 women were not in vain. I think that is the first thing to celebrate. Yes, it is not as easy as we say, like we're saying, there's still so many hurdles to jump. There are still so many stumbling blocks for you to become who you desire or dream to become. But looking at their efforts and looking at the platform they have created for us, I will say, let's take advantage. You know, if you know what you want, don't allow situations to tell you that you cannot. You cannot. I don't believe in the word I cannot, because maybe another thing that drives me, when I look at a person achieving something great, I don't look at them to compete with them. It may be spiritually, it may be business, it may be academically, but I look at them as my inspiration. I look at them as my motivators to say, if they've made it, it means I can make it. So even when I say it's not everything that permits and allows us to become who we want to be, but let us also release ourselves. You see, when you tie a chicken for a longer period, even when you untie it, it will behave like it is tied. That is why we still refer, many of us will still speak like we say, hey, apartheid, apartheid. But what about the democracy that came? What about the fruits, the hard work, the resilience of Charlotte Maxeke? Because this year we say it is the year of Charlotte Maxeke, like as we celebrate women. Now, I will say, yes, there are so many mountains to climb, there are so many rivers to cross. We still fight not just the pandemic of coronavirus, we're still fighting the pandemic of abuse of women and children. That is why one of the responsibilities or the assignment of Abigail Arise, it was a prayer walk. That prayer walk was for us to be walking and praying around the streets of our cities to say, please, we are tired of the abuse of women and our little children. And, you know, we're saying we're not doing it just to display to people, but we are conscientizing people. And that is why in that prayer, we also invited men to say, we're praying against women abuse. We're praying against the killing of our little children, the rape of our little children, you know, all sorts of abuse. And we're praying for the healing of the family, because all this is because of a dysfunctional family. And I'm saying, women, we are not yet there. We need to arise. As we say, Abigail, arise. You cannot just keep quiet and say, what will I do? Because Nabal has responded and David is coming to kill my family or my household. But you need to arise by the grace of the Lord, and God will help you. God will give you favor with David to save your family. So even during the pandemic, we cannot say my people are dying. What can I do? let us arise and let us make sure that you reach unto another woman, lift them up. You know, sometimes as women, we just destroy and kill ourselves because we just want to kill each other. You know, we've got this thing that people have been talking and saying, the pull head down syndrome. And it's until we overcome that spirit and appreciate each other. If I see somebody making it, get closer to the person to say, you know what, you motivate me, you inspire me. What is it that I can do? Can you help me? I've got this idea. I don't know how to start, but I see you making it. How can I start? Let us, let us not be selfish. One thing that becomes a very serious enemy for women, selfishness. We are not able to share information. We're not able to help each other. But I'm saying, may we stand up, arise, and overcome, the pull head down syndrome, selfishness, and, we help each other and lift each other up.
Oh, thank you, Pastor Joylene. You are so right to say we still have a lot to go through, mountains to climb and rivers to cross, even as we appreciate what we have achieved as a country when we look at women. But the question is, even if government, even civil society have got all these platforms to try and create an environment for women to rise up, but it is upon us. What is it that you are doing as a woman? Tonight, from me, I would like to believe we are all inspired. None of us as women will sit down and not do anything. And there's none of us who would only hold on to that one job. Not only women, but also the men who are in the platform. May I give an opportunity to the Zoom viewers, those who are with us on Zoom. I see the ones on Facebook who have been interacting, but those who are on Zoom, anyone who wants to ask a question, you can just show by lifting your hand. If you want to ask something from Pastor Joylene, this is your opportunity, the one and only opportunity. This is a busy woman, and time and again, sometimes when you want to just chat, you do not have her, but today we're privileged. You will agree with me, this was a conversation. We were talking to her. She was telling us way beyond how we interact with her at church, where she goes up the pulpit, preach, rebuke, encourage us, and we go home, Today we had an opportunity to have her to engage with us. Anyone who wants to ask something, you are welcome on Zoom. Anyone on Zoom, you are welcome, family. You can unmute. In the absence of the Zoom members wanting to ask, I see the men on Facebook. Oh, they are interacting. They are saying they are encouraged and inspired by you, Pastor Joylene, both Dr. Mangani, Pastor Norman Mulomu, they are encouraged. And I would like to believe all of us who have been inspired. Unfortunately, due to time, we have to say, that's it, but you'll agree with me. We could still continue talking, Pastor Joylene, until morning. Your journey is so inspiring. We have learned a lot. I would like to thank you, everyone who was with us. Pastor Joylene, we have been leading you by asking you questions. There's that one thing that you want to say to us, as we're listening to you. Please, your parting shot with us. What is it that you can tell us tonight as women, as men, as families, because it's in the evening and we've congregated in our different families.
Okay, thank you so much, and the opportunity given to me tonight. I would love to say to women, don't look down upon yourself. You are powerful. You have got something that you can give to the family. You have got something that you can give to the society. please break away from the fear. Don't seek the validation of people. Everything that God leads you to do, take one step, God will come to you and meet you in many steps. I always love the 4 leprosy men who say, why should we sit here until we die? Don't sit in your corner. It can be the corner of stress, the corner of depression, but cry out for help. And I would say together we can make it. And to families, our fathers and our sons and our daughters, COVID-19 has taught us that we don't have much time with each other. Cherish each other, support each other, love each other. It's not a lack of faith, but that is a reality. We have seen our loved ones are gone and gone for good. Some they still had plans, with their families. So I will say, let's live like you will never have another chance tomorrow. If you need to tell someone that I love you, tell them. If you need to appreciate your children, appreciate them. And to us as parents, nobody has got 100% the children. Appreciate your children, love them, let them, know that in you, they can confide, they can run to you. Good, let's open up with each other to a point where even when someone has done something wrong, but they know that they cannot run to any other person except their family first, So I will say to us as families, let us cherish the gift of life. We don't have tomorrow, but we have today. So let's live trusting in God, that with God, we will sail through this storm. Thank you so much, Madam Rulani, and thank you so much to Pastor Strike, and thank you so much to all the viewers from the Zoom, and all my brothers and sisters, families from Facebook, Bold Move Radio. Thank you so much. Maybe one last point is to say, all ladies, we're still celebrating Women's Month, and I want to say you are a strong woman. Please stand strong. Those of you who are able, Saturday, now I'm marketing Saturday, we're meeting at Karibu with Worship Tabernacle and Pastor Malumani and Pastor Vivian as they host us for the women's celebration. Let us be together. Yes, there will be a link for online. I think it will be available. So please let us be together and stand together, be encouraged and be inspired. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you, Pastor Jaylene. It was such a great evening to be talking to you. We so much appreciate you, and may the Lord continue to bless you. To our viewers, our listeners on Bold Moves Radio, thank you for joining us. I believe you have learned just like I did. When I started with the show, I'm no more the same person as I was before we started conversing with this great woman. Thank you. Have a blessed evening. May the Lord keep you and stay safe. Bye. And happy Women's Month. Let us continue and enjoy ourselves, ladies. Have a blessed evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And to Mana Tabernacle family also.